Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is The Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
Das Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
This is the turning of the wheel where it's in German. So we are going to learn German today together. Wer Wiener Schnitzel, der verklempt, wer...
Wow, someone's really offended right now. They're like, this guy needs to work on his German.
Das Nacht, Stille Nacht.
God.
It's the only thing I know in German anymore. I used to know a lot of songs in German.
Same. When
Ist
we
die
did art songs.
German? Yeah. Ein Mädchen oder Weibchen wünscht Papa genau sich. So ein saften Säubchen der Zähligkeit für mich. Mozart? There's no way. That shit can't be copyrighted at this point. Right? If you want to watch the full-length reaction, go to patreon.com. Oh, fuck. This is a rewatch. The full book spoilers.
Spoilers, very spoilers, much spoilers.
Very spoilers!
Many spoilers.
This is the reader rewatch. We've read all the books. We're going to talk about everything.
Yes,
so
everything.
We're going to talk about it through a memory of light. If you haven't read the books, don't watch this. Go to our season 2 reactions or go back to the spoiler chats. Those are no book stuff. This is all book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the full-length reaction, go to patreon.com/nerdynightly. But if you don't, stay here because you're already here. It's too hot in this room to not have the window open. Sorry about that. But we're doing this now. Bye. They say the White Tower dispatched 8 sisters. I can't stop touching this. It's like a bad dragon dildo.
You can't stop touching those either?
We don't own one of those yet.
Yeah, that's
which is kind of honestly shocking.
I know.
The fact that someone hasn't sent us one as a joke, don't do that, by the way. They're expensive.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. Don't do that.
I'm actually kind of surprised they bury the King of Gildan. Feels like you'd want to keep that body to prove, I don't know.
I don't think the Aes Sedai need proof. They just say a thing and it becomes true.
Fair. And yeah, I just feel like having like proof of that his death gives them control over the succession there in a way that the Aes Sedai would like. Beautifully shot scene.
Yeah, oh gosh.
Do they have like, whenever I see stuff like that, my brain kind of immediately goes to, and this is a me thing, not a show thing. That's a beautifully staged shot. But my brain goes to the like 10-year-old kid that they're like, all right, so when you're digging a mass grave, you have to make sure that it's in a circle.
Why is there a kid?
Because these are the kinds of cultural things that we're taught as children, right? And when I think about
Wait, what? Why you were taught to dig graves in a circle?
No. I'm saying that like cultural traditions like that are typically
taught
when you're throughout your life, right?
Okay,
you don't like turn 18 and suddenly you learn about burying rites.
Right.
So it makes me think about the weird shit that like I know from like Catholic school, where like I just accept like communion. But if I watched communion, I mean I don't, but I did. It's a whole thing. But if I watched communion at a TV show, I'd be like, they just like stick the cracker in their mouth. Like that's a fucking weird thing to do.
That's how I feel about it. I'm like, what are they doing?
And so watching that, I'm like, why did they bury them in a circle like that? And like so perfectly manicured. Like they took the time to measure out the graves.
Yes, they did. It's art.
And it's a great shot. Mm-hmm. I just love that they're like, the wheel is God, and therefore if many people die at once, they have to be buried in a wheel.
I guess that makes
Winter
sense.
was very short.
Yeah, the seasons are fucked, remember? They're also traveling
They're not supposed to be fucked
south.
No, they're not. They're traveling east. If anything, they're traveling kind of north. Tarvalon is like up here. I can pull the map. We have a map.
Yeah, I don't.
This right here is the map of... Yeah, Tarvalon is like up towards...
I literally don't know where anything is on the map.
These boots, this brooding man at my side.
These boots are made for walking. That's just what they do. One of these days, this water's gonna cut a hole in you.
What is it, you piece of shit?
It's a portal stone. Nice touch.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Did you see the scribbles on it?
I thought it was the old tongue. Like, I thought it was like a
No, there's just like symbols on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Flicker, flicker, kids. Do you think they flicker in season 2?
No.
No? Ooh, I wonder how people feel about that.
I think I've seen it before.
Have they not heard of Dragonmount?
I don't know.
That's weird. They should know what that is.
Yeah. If they know the stories of the dragon.
Yeah. Rand's like, I was born there. These shots are great.
Yeah.
And I really like the design of
Tarvalon. It looks so good. Honestly, I think one of my favorite like design choices.
Mm-hmm.
Tarvalon for sure.
And the episode, the building of Tarvalon with the
Origins.
Yeah, the Origins episode of that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy that in this version of this, they got all the way to Tarvalon without seeing a major city.
Yeah.
They passed through like 4 kingdoms. Not really, I guess like just Andor, but.
Yeah, I guess they see like Barelon, they see Camelin.
That's what they
Whitebridge.
too. Yeah. The Tower of Genji is not established. They don't sail by the Tower of Genji. Although who knows if that's even in the...
I don't know, that feels pretty important.
I mean, one of these you were like, maybe they'll cut the Ilfin like 3 episodes ago, so...
Mm-hmm.
It also, like, the show just, like, is ignoring how they make money.
True. Because they don't have Tom's instruments.
Yeah. Like, food they can hunt for with the bow, but...
Yeah.
Without the, like, fiddle and the harp. Or... What's the other one? It's a flute.
They don't use the harp.
Mm-hmm.
You know you didn't kill that family. You would never hurt that little girl.
It is interesting that both Matt and Perrin have I accidentally became a murderer plotlines in season 1 that go unresolved.
Yeah.
I care about my people. And you said they'd be here, so where are they?
I have eyes and ears watching.
We just got here.
If they've arrived, I'll know.
Give me an afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have cell phones.
If I'm as powerful as you say I am, maybe it's you, Aes Sedai, who shouldn't underestimate me.
She's so cocky.
I know. She feels very naive.
Oh, no, she's great.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a dig.
Mm-hmm.
Do not speak to anyone, and I will try and protect you as best I can. And when I found your friends, I will bring you to them.
Do you think all the warders are like, there's a girl? Guys, there's a girl in the warders' quarters. There's a lady.
Brigitte walks in.
No, that's also Portal Stone. I don't think there would be that many of them right outside of Tarvalon.
They're kind of established to be everywhere, and they're not quite at Tarvalon yet, right? Because the Whitecloaks
Aren't the Whitecloaks just on the other side of the bridge?
Are they?
I don't remember. We're about to find out.
Mm-hmm.
It's about accepting it. Maybe.
I got Aram finally in some colorful shit.
What are you two talking about?
You.
That's how Sabine and Ezra's reunion should have been. You know what I mean?
I know, right? Yeah.
The White Tower.
Oh, yeah, so they can see it.
Yeah, they're like right there. Remember when we watched this the first time, I was like, the Whitecloaks are doing this shit like
Right,
there?
you were like, how? They have no, like, jurisdiction, and they're just doing whatever the fuck they want.
Like the Tower Guard would just not fucking allow them to do this here.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Yeah, it is another Portal Stone.
Because this implies that Whitecloaks are working on the east side of Andor. And they have a hard time, like, working on the west side of Andor.
Yeah. They're not allowed in Andor. Technically.
Well, no, they are. They're just not allowed in, like, large groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that they're doing this, like, this close to the White Tower makes no fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
The way of belief against the way of the light.
Yeah. I get that it makes Valda, like, more of a villain.
Mm-hmm.
But it just distracts Perrin and Egwene. I guess Egwene kind of channels a little bit. Like, that's the point of it, maybe.
Well, and also, like, Perrin's wolf brother comes out, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't kill the 2 Whitecloaks here. Right? So they're going to have to do this again in the season 2.
Why?
Because Perrin has to kill the 2 Whitecloaks.
Does he?
When Hopper dies.
I don't know if he has to. Like.
Yeah, because that's why they chase him, and then that like sets up Dane Bornhold's plot. That sets up the trial with Morghese.
Yeah, but like
you're
honestly,
cutting you're cutting off like the Whitecloaks like reason for being in the story for like 6 books. You have to invent stuff for them to do because that's what gets them involved in so much shit.
I guess they could just think he's a dark friend, but
yeah, there he is.
And a mob chased me all the way across the city.
I think he looks fucking great.
oh, yeah.
Afraid I was almost beginning to get a little upset.
You're an ogre.
Ogier. Loyal, son of Arendt, son of Hal.
I do wish you could see his ears. But that's about the only thing. Like.
Yeah.
Your name sings in my ears, Rand al'Thor.
It's gonna sing on your pages soon, Loyal.
I'm from the 2 Rivers.
An island from the 2 rivers. That is very odd. I like oddities.
He's just delightful.
I know. I love him.
Why would the travels of Jane Fastrider make you sad?
Because he knows what happens to Noel.
Thought she was Jane herself reincarnated.
Well, that would be quite unlikely.
Because he's still alive.
Yeah.
Always in such a rush, these humans. Never taking time to properly prepare for what they're walking into.
He's perfect. I don't fucking care. Everything about his performance... People are like, I want the eyebrows to be bigger. I don't need this distraction from the eyes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, his smile just is so warm.
Yeah. No, he's so fucking good. You better hope your aim is good and you do not hit Leandrin.
Nah, I think she would accept it right now because this is her biggest victory. They are throwing the ripest of radishes.
Yeah.
The most beautiful fruit. He's not looking at Matt. He can see that Rand can channel. It has to be that, right?
Well, Moiraine does say that, like, you know, like, he burns so bright, you'll be nothing. Like, it might be that, but he's gentle, so I don't know if you can tell that someone can channel.
Maybe it's the book for me, but in the book, Logain mentions seeing Rand from across.
He does, yeah.
Because he can see the, like, essence of him. So I think it's got to be... They're playing with the same thing here, but they want us to be like, is Matt the dragon?
Because, yeah.
Matt, I'm serious. I don't give a shit about this prophecy.
I don't give a shit. That's Matt the Cawthon right there. It is sad we won't see Barney Harris finish the show.
It's also one of the things that, like, from the books, like, I never loved about Matt. Like, here in the show, they highlight that, like, Matt feels, like, so uncomfortable with the sense of maybe being able to channel and maybe ending up like that. And in the books, he just is like, fuck you, Ryan, you're about to go mad. I don't give a shit about you. And, like, he's a terrible friend.
God, I want hot men to dress me every day. You know what I mean?
It was all worth it to see Leandrin's face when she accidentally got hit with a radish.
Oh, wow.
Someone should tell them that the Whitecloaks are arresting people outside their gates.
My dad tried to kill me when I was 12. So, stop your whining.
If you bond another Aes Sedai.
First you lose Moiraine and then tell me how easy it is to jump from one moment to the next.
It's a great performance.
Oh, God, yeah. It's why I'm sure I still love this episode, but I loved this episode when I first saw it. I wonder why the funeral colors are white and then novice
because we're
colors.
wacky.
No, but the novice colors are also white.
The funeral colors aren't white in the books. I think it's just a thing they came up with to not have them be black.
I don't remember any kind of, like, funeral attire in the books.
Yeah, I think that this is just a thing they came up with for the show. I think he should be dressed in the colors of her Aja. Oh, no, it's not black because you wouldn't wear black to the funeral because the black...
It's evil.
Yeah. The black Aja, literally. It's a gorgeous shot. That's beautiful. Like, there's so much great imagery here.
Yeah.
That needs a safety railing. People are gonna die. Do you think they're gonna parallel this scene with her becoming a novice and taking the white in that way?
No, I doubt it.
I don't know. This just feels like a traumatic thing she's gonna remember, and I think that like her joining the White Tower is gonna have a similar like vibe to it.
Okay.
Or the season will start and she's already like, who knows how long it's been between seasons, right?
The light must have brought you before me for a reason. Twice.
It's a great reason to torture people. Really is.
Yeah.
This scene just makes him seem stupid.
Why?
Because this is just such a huge risk to take in enemy territory for like fucking nothing. Like you saw her on the road one time. They haven't done anything. Like if there had been something that they had done, some justification for this, I could buy it.
Right.
But you're telling me that this guy sees somebody twice and is like, well, that's it.
You would have made a strong Aes Sedai. A wonderful ring to add to my collection.
But this is just like senseless.
Yeah, he's evil.
But he isn't, and that's what's supposed.
Yes, he is. Even in the book, he is evil. He uses
that's fair.
Whatever he needs to justify his actions. He loves manipulating people, hurting people.
Yeah. But at this point in the books, the Whitecloaks had enough structure that, like, he was answering to somebody. I just think it sets up the Whitecloaks in a really weird way, because I don't think you can justify the organization later on, because you introduce them with there's nothing redeemable about them at the beginning.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, it takes a longer time in the books to get to this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll kill the boy and let you go.
To go tell people that I just murdered people for no reason. Like, that, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but what is anyone gonna do about it?
What does he
Whitecloaks
get
are
out
already
of
not
this?
welcome anywhere.
But apparently they're welcome enough that he can pull this off in the shadow of Tarvalon. You know what I mean?
No, there's just no one to tell them no.
There is, though. There's an army.
In the city. I don't know how far out the patrols go.
The Tower Guard can... I don't know. I think this is one of those things that I just need to let go of. I just need to let go of, like, the way that this works. But none of that works for me.
I just don't understand how you expect them to police every inch of woods.
It's a
policing a city
contingent of
already.
Whitecloaks outside the Aes Sedai's headquarters. It's the one thing they would absolutely fucking be like, no, get the fuck out of here.
And then what?
That's it.
The Whitecloaks are like, no. And it's like, okay, well, then what?
What do you mean? They arrest them.
For what?
For torturing people. They're torturing. They're fucking. We just watched them torture people. What do you mean for what?
I don't know what the laws are. Like,
they're torturing girls for maybe being Aes Sedai. That's the Aes Sedai are probably gonna be like, no, you can't do that here.
Don't worry. I promise you, the pain will never go away.
Is that the moment where he decides to
well, no, he came for the...
to help him sleep?
Him, maybe. It seems to... I always thought he, like, pre-planned it.
Yeah, maybe. It just seems that, like, the pain will never go away is, This is so cool. I love the statues of the warders guarding the hall. The floor really should have all 7 colors in the tiling. I read so many paragraphs about it.
The persimmons are in season.
Why do I get the vibe that she eats the persimmons?
Because she's evil. She is a dark friend.
Do you think the man that Moiraine knows that she's going to go see, do you think it's Ishamael?
I'm sorry, what?
Later on in the episode, Moiraine accuses her of like having sex with a man, right? We'll get to it. We'll get to when we get there.
You think it's a Shamayu?
We'll get to it.
But why?
I went there and found the woman you spoke of.
I hated this the first time. But now because Taviran, it's fine.
Hey.
Who else can I be?
Lots of people. He's high as a fucking kite.
I know Moiraine said we should come to her at the White Tower. I don't know if we can trust her. We saw what the Aes Sedai did to the False Dragon.
The good news is, if they did gentle him, nothing would happen.
Matt, true. Yeah, true.
He'd be fine. They don't know that, but...
Usually, before the person dies, they snap their own legs and arms in half.
Comforting story, Nynaeve.
In the morning, the fever had broken. Not her.
Sounds about right.
And I actually channeled, which gave us a connection, and now I know where she is at all times.
Egwene is many things. But above all else, she's unbreakable.
That is foreshadowing in, like, the biggest way. Elena will try.
Yeah. Yeah, Valda's small potatoes compared to Elena.
Yeah, Elena did not try and torture Egwene's friends in front of her, though, so that'll...
Then I heard another from behind me, and I swung with all my strength. But it was her. I killed her.
It's a great scene. He crushes that monologue.
Yeah.
In truth, I was expecting more.
The noise
The
is
lion
so
roar.
goofy.
I know.
Oh, maybe this is the death of the Whitecloaks? But Perrin doesn't actually kill anybody here.
Yeah, I think it's maybe they're just going to use the fact that, like, this guy totally summoned a bunch of wolves.
But the best part of the
And is a
trial
dark
scene is that he's like, no, I
friend.
did kill those people.
Yeah, the trial scene.
You can
for
judge me as
sure.
guilty, but like...
Yeah, the trial scene for sure, but I think the trial scene gets cut.
Yeah. It's just
Because I don't think
one of the best
Morghese
parts of that
is
book.
really in it.
Fine.
Yeah.
No doubt she's resting after her long journey.
You look a little worse for wear, too.
Is that
So sexual.
flirting? Well, it is. She's flirting, but, like, she's so bad at it that she's like, you look like shit.
The wisdom of the two rivers. After her first channeling healed the dying.
Our yellow sisters will be desperate to get their hands on her.
It's true.
They do. Spoilers.
One thing she doesn't share, though, is your contempt for men.
Yeah, she likes Lane's dick too much.
I need to see clearly now. I need to see the truth.
Dark One, the father of lies?
Yeah, but I dig this. I love the like touch that like they're such mythical boogeymen that they're viewed like the seven sins, right?
Mhm.
It's like
Seal them away. Eternity's a very long time.
I actually love this scene because it does point at like religious beliefs outside of just the wheel, right? That there are cultural traditions and
Lan has nothing to worry about. You'll be here with us a long time yet.
but yes, also there is, and I know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'll save it for the last possible second.
Yeah.
I got word that the Amelin's returning from Camelin. She summoned us to the hall.
I thought that was an orange.
Me too.
And then she bit the peel.
And I was like, ma'am.
We're actually the same person on so many levels.
Yeah, no, I thought that was an orange.
This place isn't what it was when you left.
Free? Rafe Judkins.
Be careful, my friend.
Thank you for the warning.
It's so interesting that they set up that Leandrin is like the other in this.
Other?
The other like power in the White Tower here.
Oh.
Because she isn't. Like Leandrin leaves the White Tower at the end of the next book and then it's just gone. And it doesn't like leave a power vacuum. You know what I mean? Like
True, yeah.
She's not even the leader of the Reds. She's not a sitter. Like there's so many people with more political power than Leandrin.
I think she's more like the mouthpiece.
In the show, yeah. I just don't know what the show does with it once she's... Like, I wonder if the show's gonna... And there's a way to do it, but if the show's gonna build her up after... Build someone up after her.
Aleda?
I guess. It's just weird to do that after, without introducing her.
I think she comes in season 2.
Oh, you think she does?
Hasn't she been cast?
I have no idea. I thought Ket Swain was playing her in season 3.
Cad Swain?
Sorry. Shora.
Oh, yeah. Is that not season 2? I don't know.
Never been with a man.
It's great. You should try it.
Certainly not 2 men.
It's great. You should try it.
She touched the one power for the first time to save your life.
And barely spoken to me since.
Still, we allow it to happen. This life would be intolerable.
Well, I can tolerate a lot.
It's so, like, watching the show, you would think that Lan and Nynaeve's relationship is the centerpiece of the show. Of the books. And then, like, they get married off page. And then you don't see them for 5 novels.
Yeah.
They are never together again.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And then in the epilogue, they get a... Oh, here's your crown.
Yeah, I know. At least Nynaeve does have a really beautiful moment, even though Lan isn't present for it.
Oh, no, I just mean, like, their relation... The show makes their relationship the centerpiece.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Because the show wants them to have sex at the end of the season, right? I totally understand the argument that this takes too much time and like just doesn't really do much for the series. But the performances in this episode are so fucking good that even on a rewatch, I'm riveted by the 4 warders and this relationship. And
I honestly, like, I get that people argue that it's not that important to the series, but I think, like, if the series is trying to, like, put more focus on the warder bond and the roles there that come into play, especially because, like, we know that Rand has 4 bonds.
Yeah.
Right. And, like, and then what that means for Lan and Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Like, and then what that means for the Ashaman later. I'm... Honestly, I fucking love this episode.
Yeah.
This scene is heartbreaking. And I think they're well within their rights
to take the time.
To take the time to really set this up.
Yeah. The first time I saw this, I was weeping. It's such a good moment. Yeah! There we go. Another one bites the dust. Another episode down.
Hell yeah.
I do. I like the episode a lot. I really, like, it's so interesting because I really don't like the Egwene Perrin stuff. Everything else really works. I think the, like, way the Matt story takes a step forward really works. Rand kind of, like, Rand doesn't really do much. Except CeeLo gain.
See Nynaeve.
Yeah, like that doesn't really move forward
Yeah.
much, but like this stuff really works for me. I think, but yeah, it is interesting. Like it is kind of buoyed on 2 sides by like this thing that like really doesn't work for me, and this thing that really does.
Yeah, because I think I want to believe that the people working on this show like have an idea of what they're doing and like have no, like I mean that
I know the way you said that
sincerely.
sounded so mean though. I
No,
want to believe they know what they're doing.
because a lot of people are like, they're garbage. Why would you pay them money for this? And I'm like, fuck off. Like, like, you know, like they have these jobs for a reason. And
Wow.
what?
Well, let's not get into that. Writers can get jobs for weird reasons in Hollywood.
Sure. I just mean like that you know, this series had to go through several people in order to get greenlit, and like it's building up the world and that bond and the White Tower and what that bond means for the relationships of our characters in the future, I think is important. And it can make moments in larger battles more impactful and understandable, right? Like in the last battle, Swan just dies, she just fucking drops dead, basically. And then you know, and then off page, Gareth Bryan just runs into the fray. It's like you have to understand the bond and to be able to like understand that decision, and like having like this kind of setup I think is important for like the emotional stakes of the Aes Sedai and the Warders like fighting for their lives. And I maybe it's not the most important thing, and like we have said, there's a lot of things that we would have liked to see in season 1, and I still stand by that, but like that's not the first thing I would take out. There are a lot of other things that I would replace first before I replace this, because it's powerful, and I think that it shows a lot about the Aes Sedai and the structure and the roles within that structure.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't think that that's what I would change. I wouldn't do it in Tarvalon. Like, I think, like, the big thing for me I think the show, the thing in season 1 that I think ultimately, like, really doesn't work for me in an adaptation sense, and it does, the show on its own, it does, right? It's fine that they go here, but getting in and out of Tarvalon so easily here in season 1, and just not, I feel like Tarvalon, the place, doesn't get the moment that it should, because it gets overshadowed by all of these things that happen here. And like with putting the reunion here, like Camelin is just a better place to do all of that shit.
Sure.
So that when they go to Tarvalon and Nynaeve and Egwene go to the White Tower for the first time, that gets to be a bit more of a moment than here, where it's like, hey, this is the White Tower, don't leave this fucking room, don't, you know what I mean? And you kind of, because this, all of this Warder shit could have happened anywhere, right? There's no reason why it happens here.
Unless you argue that, like, Steppin's journey, he has to bring the ring back. Like that.
Sure, but that's another thing that they created for the show. That's not, that is an adaptation thing where, like, they put in stuff to get here for the show's sake. That works on the show on its own. But as an adaptation of the book, that, like, I feel like we miss out on, we miss out on later things because of this decision.
Right.
And there's just a lot of that here, right? There's a lot of, we decided to put the time here, and so there's a lot of later stuff that doesn't get the foreshadowing that it gets in the book. And that's fine. It is. I think that, like, there's a lot lost there. I think that, like, not having Rand meet Elaine when he is this Rand is the biggest loss of season 1.
I agree with that.
I think it is the thing that is the biggest failure of the show, is showing the version of Rand that Elaine actually falls in love with, and then having her re-meet him as the man she has to, like, learn to love. And I think, like, that is sad to me, and that could have, this could have happened in Camelin had that, instead of them kind of getting here and then them leaving the White Tower. And we'll get to it. It gets weird, kind of like the way all of this plays out. It gets a little strange for me, in terms of, like, we gotta go. But no, the Steppin stuff, it's so well acted. It's so good. The way that Tarvalon is built and the visuals of it are so beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a lot here. It really rocks. Leandrin and Moiraine's confrontation is interesting, right?
Yeah.
The fact that we're about to meet the Amerlin Seed is really cool.
Yes.
It's still too early in my taste, but like, you know, it is what it is. We get the sex scene between her and Moiraine next episode, so like representation is good.
Not mad about that.
No, and I'm not. And
I
like,
do love them together.
Yeah, I do too. Because ultimately, like, their romances in the books don't really go anywhere. Like, Gareth Bryan and Swan have a little bit more, but Tom and Moiraine just are, like, together to not do anything in the final book in a big way.
Yeah, and not have any emotional... yeah.
Like, you could honestly...
Robert Jordan is not great at relationship writing.
Well, and you could... Well, no, but that's not Robert Jordan. Robert Jordan just didn't leave enough notes for Brandon Sanderson. And so he was like, I wrote what I had notes on. And so the reason why Moiraine isn't in the last book more is because he's like, I didn't know what Robert Jordan didn't tell me what she did, and I didn't want to just make shit up. And so I just didn't write more for her, and that's why she's not in the epilogue. Which is, like, insane to me that Moiraine doesn't make the epilogue.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, this is the most controversial episode in the series, I think, thus far, in season 1. And I think that it is, other than the finale, but the finale, obviously, right?
Yeah, you said this far. So.
But I think, like... But no, I think in season 1, this is the most controversial episode in terms of that debate of, like, was this amount of time worth it when there's so much that you cut from the book?
Yeah.
Was setting up this character who we do meet in New Spring, but who does not kill himself on page, like, and who Lan does not know. Like, Lan never meets Steppin in the books, right? Mm-hmm. Steppin is long dead before Moiraine and Lan are on their journey. Mm-hmm. Is this worth the time that you took away from all of the things that happened in book 1 that now cannot happen because these characters are going to be different characters next time we meet them? And I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It
depends on what happens in the future. Like, honestly, like that's a tough thing to know until it's all done.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I've seen a couple photos from season 2.
Yeah.
So I don't really know much, but I really do wonder, like, do Rand and Elaine even meet? Because I've seen the trailers, right? So I know that Rand and Perrin and Aviendha are together. Min, I believe, is at, I don't know where Min is. I've seen one photo of her with the Sanshin, so I'm assuming she makes it to Falme at some point. Mm-hmm. And like, does Rand actually meet any of those girls in season 2? Obviously, he meets Min at the end of this season, but
right.
It's just it's an interesting thought of, like, because this is episode 5, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the next episode, they, like, fail to... They cure Matt, but not really. And then they flee. Mm-hmm. And then it's Faldara, the episode after that. And then it's the weird, like, trio of love scene into the sex scene into Rand leaving.
Yes.
And then
the finale.
And then the finale, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. It's weird. The show is so much better than I remember, and the stuff that doesn't work for me works less.
It's more polarizing for you?
Yeah, it's more polarizing.
That's fair.
The stuff like the Steppin...
I feel that too.
The Steppin casting works so... Like, he's so handsome. He's so good. Yeah. Him and Daniel Henney's chemistry's great. The other two, Alana's warders are great.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all, like, the 4 of them, Moiraine, Liandrin, like, that, all the White Tower stuff here really does work for me. Mm-hmm. The White Tower feels very small. You know what I mean? It feels like there's maybe 30 of them.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, I wish there were things, I wish they spent more money on this, on that.
Yeah. I honestly think, going back a little bit,
yeah,
I honestly think that the show will just keep Moiraine and Swan together because it's the far more interesting choice.
Sure. I mean, they don't see each other for this. They like, you're just rewriting the entire series at that point, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like they
don't see each other after Faldara.
No, but
like, they never see each other again in the books.
No, but I just think it's one of those things where, like, narratively, if they were together, not like together, I mean dating. I mean, like, having Moiraine come back from the dead and, like, Swan actually having a reaction to that is more impactful, as opposed to Moiraine just kind of comes back and everyone's like, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, no, cool. The books do nothing with her. I agree. I think that there's a weird... The weird thing is that, like, I like that for Moiraine, because I think her and Tom just... It's like
I like nothing.
It's there, but it doesn't. There's just nothing there. They have like one cute scene together.
Yeah, Tom just has Tom has to be in love with her to have the letter. That's like the only reason that they love one another in the books is so that he has the letter so that they can go to the tower and get her back.
And I have to imagine that if Robert Jordan wrote The Last Battle, if he wrote those last 3 books, it would have played out very differently, right? I think that Moiraine would have had a bigger part in that. And I think that's one of the things that got lost in Brandon Sanderson taking over.
Right, yeah.
And that's fine. That is just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the weird thing is the Swan stuff is tough. Because Swan and Gareth Bryne's relationship is like actually present for a lot of things and influences like armies, right?
Does it actually though?
Yeah, it does. Like Gareth Bryne's feelings for Swan pull him across countries to Saladar and convince him all like Gareth Bryne's motivations for why he becomes the leader of the White Tower's armies kind of come from his infatuation with Swan. And so I wonder like how
of him being like, man, this really young hot lady, I'm gonna chase her around.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of weird for the show to do.
It's kind of weird, but like some of my favorite Swan moments come from their relationship, right? Like the moment where she one of my favorite moments in all of the books, and it's written so fucking well, is in the middle. When Nynaeve, no, it's pre-slog.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just pre-slog where Nynaeve, I think it might be Crown of Swords, where Nynaeve heals Stilling, and because it's before they leave Saladar, so it's pre-slog. Because when they leave from Saladar is when the slog really starts.
So
it's when they start walking.
Be book 7 or
6
maybe
or 7.
8. No, it's not 6. It's not Do My Wells. It is far
Do My
after
Wells isn't 6.
Yes, it is.
No, Do My Wells is 5.
No, that is Fires of Heaven.
Right.
Yeah. So it has to be 7 or 8.
I think it's 7. Nynaeve heals her. And then she walks out of the room, and Gareth Bryne comes over to like chide her, and sees her like being genuinely emotional for the first time
because she's remembering,
and because the feeling of her warder being dead is back. That moment is fucking sick.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So well done.
It like is one of the best moments in all the novels. It is so emotional. It is one of the most genuine human relationship moments in Wheel of Time. And I don't know. I don't give a fuck about Moiraine and Tom. Moiraine and Gareth's relationship is actually something Moiraine and Swan and Gareth's relationship is actually something that I did care about in the books.
Okay.
And also like you lose, there's like the whole like if you were apart prophecy from Min that leads to their death together. But
their death is.
No, I know, but there's moments before their death that's great, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I you can do it without it, right? Because I actually don't know if they'll have all 4 of the great captains. Like, I don't know if this show's going to have enough budget to do all 4 of them.
Right.
So which one do you cut? Garrett's the easiest.
Dead, so there's 3 left.
Oh, fuck yeah. I guess, like, but you could do it with Rodell and Davram, because you can't cut Davram. Right? Like, Davram, you can't cut Fael's dad.
Yeah.
Maybe you can. I don't know. I think
the line of succession would. Yeah, interesting.
If anyone who worked on the show is watching these and has gotten to this point, I'm sorry. And none of this is fair to you. I can't, having now read the books, I can't fully watch this because I've already seen it before. I just want to talk through the whole. I've seen it. Like, I'm not gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about all of the things we're not gonna be able to get, and I think that that is impacting my viewing of the show because the budget isn't there. Like, regardless of the writing, regardless of everything, just looking at what is on screen, the money isn't there.
When we read Do My Wells, we were like, how?
But it's not even Do My Wells. It's the White Tower. The like CG shot of the outside looks great, but the money is not there to represent what the hustle and bustle of that tower is in the way that I pictured in my head. And
I didn't picture it that busy. I pictured it very empty.
Oh, I pictured there's
like only a third of the quarters are used because there's so few Aes Sedai now.
Oh, sure. But there's still, like, there's novices moving around. There's tower guard. There's, like, decorum. And there's like... This show feels like the only people at the White Tower are the ones Moiraine and Leandrin rode into town with. And...
Yeah, we have not seen anyone else.
Like, and the place where the money would have been spent, if they had it, is on Loghain's getting to the White Tower moment and having everyone there for it, right? By cutting around that scene, you're cutting that scene because it would have been the fucking triumphant moment. It would have been like Leandrin's huge moment, her victory, right? It would have been Moraine's fear. It would have thematically played into what's going on with everyone. The only reason you cut that moment is money. You know what I mean? You're not...
And Swanna, I guess, is not there yet, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's where you're like, this is the White Tower.
Yeah.
And the actors are kind of like, oh, this is a big city. They're not even like, wow, this is like, massive. Tarvalon is supposed to be like fucking New York.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the way it's described in the book is like, there are places where you can't move on the streets.
Kind
There's so many
New York
people.
Because it's on like an island.
Yeah. And so the show like just doesn't have the money to do those things. Because like the Caemlyn, when Loghain's pulled through Caemlyn in the book, it's crowds of people.
Yep.
And here it's like it's 3 deep on either side, you know, and it's kind of a small street. They're pulling him down in a cart.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's the money they have. Like, I shouldn't judge them for that because...
But it's not like the wedding or the crowning of Aragorn at the end of like the Return of the King, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like, there's luster lost in like this big sweeping shot that looks like it's this massive city, and then it cuts to a set.
Yeah,
that looks like it's just a set. And I think it's one of the
They're like small rooms and passages.
Game of Thrones is so unfair because they shot so well on location in Prague and in like parts of Europe.
Yeah.
And those are all just real places. And a lot of this is real places too, but Game of Thrones shot Europe so well to make everything seem like a lived-in location.
Yeah.
And there's something about the way that they did that on a huge budget, right? Like Game of Thrones was not cheap. That this show comes in underneath, and this show is going to lose out because it has way more CGI than Game of Thrones did.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just tough. It's a tough comparison that's not fair. And I want to acknowledge that it's not fair because there's stuff that they're doing that's so good. And when Rafe Judkins says, like, our show, because we were at that panel, and he was like, our show is 2 people in a room talking. And, like, I get what he means by that because that's when the show is the best.
Yeah, you cannot take these books and make them live action.
You could. You would just need...
I don't even know if you could.
You would need more time, money, and you would need a director who has that kind of
Some
flair.
of the fucking Tel'aran'rhiod and Wolf Brother and large battle sequences, like, genuinely, like, don't know how.
Yeah, but at the same time, Doctor Strange seems like an impossible movie to me, and it exists.
Sure.
And you know what I mean? Like those visuals, there are directors who pull that off. If you look at Everything Everywhere All at Once, the idea that movie exists is an impossibility. They did not have enough money to make something as gorgeous and perfect as it is.
Right, I hear you.
But they had a couple of people who really had an insane vision. And sometimes this version of Wheel of Time feels, and this is going to sound so mean, and I promise you, like, I respect the people who make it, but this feels like the bureaucratic version of how can we condense Wheel of Time to our budget, and not how can we stretch our budget to make the Wheel of Time.
This is the version where all the producers have a finger in the pie.
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, like, everything I would change about this, my version is more expensive. Because my version isn't Lan and the other warders in one room having 4 conversations over 4 different scenes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and as beautifully acted as those scenes are, they could have been one scene. Like, there's a lot in this show that can be one, that, like, Egwene and Perrin's arc in the last 3 episodes could have been an episode and a half.
Or less.
The Whitecloak stuff could have happened on the Caroline Plains.
Yeah.
Where the wolves already were. Because, like, those wolves followed them across all those fucking places.
I don't know if it's the same wolves. I'm just... wolves are everywhere.
Sure.
I don't know.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, their whole arc could have taken so much less time.
Yep, I agree.
And, you know, it's tough because there's stuff that's so well acted.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that is really beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's why, like, when people are like, why did you have this Steppin stuff? I'm like, there is a whole other list of things that could have been condensed or cut before I would take this out.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Whether or not it's necessary, who knows? But
I think that part of the other problem for season 1 for me is having seen the rest of it. What happens to Perrin is that they take the black lead and make him a wife killer and then torture him and
give him nothing.
And there's just nothing for him to do except be traumatized. And it's tough because it's like it's not for any purpose.
No, there's nothing.
And maybe in season 2 it is.
Nothing to his storyline. And I remember in the finale being like, what the fuck happened with Perrin? Like, why?
It's just tough because, like, we were talking about the colorism. I brought up colorism in the last episode.
Right, because apparently in season 2 there's, like, some...
Well, I've heard there's more, but...
Yeah.
Like, if you really go through the, like, black characters on the show, Perrin kills his wife and then is tortured on screen and does not get much to do else except brood about the fact that he's a traumatized black man. The Kadeen, the Black Warder from the last episode, she dies and is basically the Aes Sedai. Yeah. She dies to have this white man have a very sad, well-acted episode. Padden Fane is a villain. Valda is a villain.
Yeah.
Like,
Egwene gets, like, kind of tortured, and then we know in season 2 she becomes a slave.
Yeah, and so it's just when you look at how this show treats, in particular, its black characters, and obviously we get Swan in the next episode, but this gets into the colorism element where Swan is also mixed. Egwene is also mixed. Like, the lighter your skin is, the better your treatment on the show is as a character until Egwene gets collared. And also I know that Rima is a dark-skinned black woman who gets enslaved and collared on film, and watches her dark-skinned black warder die before she gets turned into a slave. Like, there's an element of who you are casting in which roles matters. Yeah. In diversity. Just having diversity isn't enough. You have to have some, and I don't know, there might be a bunch of black directors. I should look that up. I should know who's directing these episodes. But when I'm looking at what is happening on screen, and I'm looking at what color faces they're giving what parts in the show, as much as there is a ton of diversity, there is some question here about why are you doing this to these characters? And why, like, that stuff. You do get the one warder, one of Alana's warders, obviously. He only has a couple of lines.
Yeah,
but he has the best joke in the show.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's not a very big part.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is the 2 most dastardly villains that we have, because we haven't met Ishamael, who is also a man of color.
Yeah, true.
You know, there is that element.
Well, it was the problem that we had in the book, where all of the, like, queer women were, like,
predators,
evil.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, this is kind of awkward.
All of the women who don't grow out of being a lesbian become, like, predatory to the women they're having sex with. Yeah. That was tough.
Yeah.
And so I guess the show's continuing the tradition. I don't know.
Consistency.
It's an element of it that, like, I don't know Rafe Judkins. I don't know the team. I don't know the casting department. They might be much more culturally diverse than I'm giving them credit for here, right? But from the outside, the choices that they made feel odd in a way that makes me think that they went, we cast people of color. And there wasn't that second thought of what roles they were in.
Well, and if Shora is Aleda, again, it's a villain.
Oh, yeah. But that's not specifically... The people who aren't specifically black don't fit inside this conversation in the same way.
I just
because
mean
the way that the show
you said that, you know, the lighter your skin color is, the kind of better your character is.
Yeah, but we'll get there. Like Lanfear is played by a white woman. It does get a little bit more diverse in that way. But it is interesting that the two women who do get enslaved in season 2 are both black women. I don't know, and maybe there is an element of it where like they're trying to draw parallels to the real world to be distinct about that but I don't always know if that's the strongest choice in a show that has also made the only real villains we have so far in season 1 black men. And like very dark-skinned black men, right? Like they're both particularly dark.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation that like I'm not really in the middle of, obviously. But if I'm noticing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I'm kind of if I'm looking at it going, this feels a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm alone in that. And I know that I'm not. I've seen tweets, I've seen YouTube videos, I've seen it. Like I know I'm not the only person who feels this way, but I felt this way since the beginning. And so this show's caught in this weird place, right? Where on the one side, you have all these people being like, you're fucking woke, you woke bitches, nah, I hate the Wheel of Time because they didn't make my heroes white.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you do have people who would be considered woke, which I've been accused of in my life, being like, it's sort of weird that like Rand kind of, you know, Rand and Matt don't really go through a lot of hardship.
Yet.
Except for the black woman who was a dark friend that tried to kill them, and then you know what I mean? Like
she was a dark friend too.
You know what I mean? It gets this season in particular is weirdly, and this episode, as much as I love the Steppin stuff, it is a little like noticeable that this very dark-skinned black woman gets killed off so that the like character in that emotional arc who gets all of the lines and screen time is a white man. And that is like indicative of how I feel about it in the show. And I'm trying to move on past it and hoping that they correct it in season 2 and it feels a little less pointed in season 2 in that way. Mm-hmm. But I am noticing it more on a rewatch because it's already in the back of my head. And I know that there's people who already feel this way, who see it too. And like, I'm excited for Swan to get here. I'm excited for, you know, I know there's some other people of color coming into the show that are these kind of beacons of light.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for those characters. And obviously Nynaeve is one of those characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Just interesting. Just it's an interesting element of the conversation around the show that really stood out here today. And I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Maybe it is those tweets about season 2 that I've seen that are like, oh, does it not get better? Am I going to be sitting here in the middle of like season 2 being like, okay.
We will find out soon.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. Or we won't. Who knows? Maybe the world will end. You know.
It's possible.
Do you know that there are these things, they're called roving black holes? Not to make it about race, but they're black holes that move faster than the speed of light. And so they could destroy the world and we wouldn't even know that the world had been destroyed. That's fun, right? If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is...
Why do I always have to pick?
Because I do every other piece of the outro. I do the entire rest of the outro.
You want to trade?
Okay, but you have to start from the beginning. Go.
If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below for the algorithm goddess because she's hungry.
No. From the top. From the top. You can't skip parts.
What do you mean?
You can't. You got to do the whole thing.
I did the whole thing.
No, you didn't. You missed like a whole chunk.
Is probably not important.
Wow.
What? I don't know what I missed. That's why
If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is... Nynaeve. Yeah. You're gonna heal Matt. But he will get some antibodies from it. If you want to follow us around the internet, you can. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Clars Polaris.
Do something nerdy tonight, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.